If you're getting leads, booking jobs, but not seeing your profit grow, this is why. Most HVAC owners think scaling means more leads, but if your backend is broken, more leads just means more mess. In this video, I'm going to show you why HVAC owners struggle to scale and how to grow your HVAC company without needing more marketing. And if you want the full document from this video, plus SOPs, scripts, automations, and other tools that we give our clients, they're all inside my free Facebook group. You'll find a link for that below. If you're more of a one-on-one type of person, you want help building this out for your business, there's a link for that too, where we can chat one-on-one. When HVAC owners say, I want to scale my business, what they usually mean is I want to grow revenue and increase profit. And the go-to solution most people assume is, I just need more leads. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Most HVAC companies don't actually need more leads to scale. They just need to fix what's happening after the lead comes in. And this is what I like to call the scaling trap. Business owners assume that increasing the number at the top of the funnel, which is your leads, will automatically increase what comes out at the bottom, which is closed jobs, revenue, profit, etc. But what if the real problem is that the funnel itself is leaking? You might be paying for ads or doing SEO, but if 30 to 50% of your leads are being wasted due to missed follow-ups, slow responses, or weak processes, then all of that marketing spend is like pouring water into a bucket with holes in it. Scaling is not about lead volume, it's about conversion quality. If you can double your revenue without increasing the number of leads you get at all, isn't that a smarter path to scale? That's what this video is all about. It's going to be about plugging the holes first so your business becomes scalable before you invest more money into bringing people in. Now, I'm going to be brutally honest here. Most HVAC businesses operate in a controlled chaos. So the phone is ringing, someone answers it if they can, a tech is dispatched, estimates are all over the place, follow-up depends on memory, and the business owner is juggling everything that they need to. When you're in that situation, it feels like a lead problem, but what's really happening is calls are missed or they go unanswered, leads don't get followed up with, or maybe you follow up with them one time and that's it. Estimates are getting delayed, maybe for a few hours, few days, or even worse, weeks. Jobs go cold because there's no consistent follow-up. Customers aren't asked for reviews, so your Google profile doesn't grow, and no one checks back with the customer for upsells, referrals, or repeat work. In other words, you're losing money that you already earned. You're working hard, but you're not necessarily working smart. And the worst part about this is you can't fix what you can't see. So without a system to actually track the customer journey, you have no idea what's going on, and that makes it impossible to scale without creating even more chaos. There are bottlenecks in your business right now that are costing you thousands of dollars every single month, and you probably don't even know they exist. And why? Because they're invisible unless you track every single stage of the customer journey. So I'm going to break it down for you. The first bottleneck is response time bottlenecks. So let's say you have 50 leads come in for the week, but only 30 of them are getting called back within the first 5 minutes. The other 20 are already calling your competitors. Then we have the estimate bottleneck. So if your team is doing about 40 on-site visits, but only sends out 25 estimates, why? Because maybe someone forgot or they got busy or they just didn't follow up. Then we have the follow-up bottleneck. So of those 25 estimates, only 5 of them are getting followed up with. And you'd think people just weren't interested, but in reality, they just didn't have a reason to choose you because you never stayed in touch. Finally, we have a post-sale bottleneck. So you finish the job and you move on, but no one is getting asked for a review. No one is getting added to a list for a future service or reactivation. No one gets a referral request. The profit is just simply stopping way too early. And each one of these gaps is a lost profit point. And when you multiply that by 10, 20, 50, 100 leads a month, it adds up really fast. But you can't solve what you don't track. That's why most HVAC businesses hit a ceiling. It's not because there's no demand, but because their internal engine isn't built to scale. The phrase, we just need more calls, is one of the most common things that I hear from HVAC owners, but most of the time it's just simply not true. The real reason you're not growing is because your business is leaving money on the table. Growth is not about volume, it's about efficiency. Do you know what your close rate is on estimates? Do you know how fast your team is responding to leads? Do you know how many jobs sit in limbo because nobody followed up? Most owners actually don't know any of these numbers, along with a lot of other things, and that's why they hit a wall. Not because there's no demand, but it's because their systems are not ready for more volume. If you grow fast on a weak foundation, you're going to burn out, your team's going to struggle, customers are unhappy, and profits are going to stay flat. And what most owners don't actually realize is that if they had the correct system in place 3 to 4 months ago, they wouldn't be in this position where they are now, feeling that they need more calls. So, what's the solution? You need a conversion system that takes the leads that you already get and makes sure you turn as many of them into profit as possible. And here's what that actually looks like. So, the first step, as I mentioned before, is tracking every single step of the customer journey. So, most businesses only track two things: leads in, jobs out. That's like trying to diagnose an engine problem by looking at how much gas you put in and how fast the car is going. You're missing everything in between those two stages. Now, here's roughly what you should be tracking. And keep in mind, this varies from company to company depending on their sales process, but usually it goes like this. So we have a new unassigned lead, an assigned lead, an appointment set, in-home appointment complete, estimate needing to be sent, then it's sending the estimate. Then we look at if the estimate was accepted or rejected. Then you have a post-sale checklist. Then you schedule the job, then you complete the job, and after the job, there's a checklist that goes out. And finally, you mark that job as won or lost. When you track all of this, that means you see exactly where leads are stalling or falling off so you can fix it. Step 2 would be to implement automated reliable follow-up. So this means leads are getting followed up automatically with SMS, email, and even voicemail drops. So you're not going to be losing leads due to slow response times anymore. And if estimates don't get approved, the system is going to follow up with them until the customer makes a decision, yes or no. So you're not leaving money on the table. Finally, there's a post-sale profit step. So once the job is complete, the system's automatically going to request them for a Google review, ask them for a referral, and then it's going to add that customer to a reactivation list for future tune-ups or other offers that you might have down the line. This is where the lifetime value of your customers skyrockets. It's not about chasing the next job, it's about squeezing the maximum profit from every single lead that you already paid for. If you couldn't tell by now, more leads should never be the first move. If you're already spending money on ads and you don't have this system in place, you're just wasting money. You're turning $5,000 of ad spend into maybe $15,000 of revenue when it could be $30,000 or more. So I'm going to break down a realistic example for you. Let's say you spend $5,000 on ads, you generate 50 leads. Company A is going to have no system, so they follow up with 30 of the 50 leads. They book 20, send 15 estimates, and close 10 jobs. Out of those 10 jobs, 7 of them are repairs at $500, and 3 of those are replacements at $5,000. So the total comes to about $19,000 in revenue. Company B, on the other hand, used a conversion system, so they're actually following up with all 50, booking 40 of them, sending 35 estimates, and closing 25 more jobs. So they're closing 15 more jobs than Company A. So 18 of these are going to be repairs at $500, which turns to $9,000, and then 7 of them are going to be replacements, which goes to $35,000. So you can see the total revenue goes up to $44,000. Same ad spend, same number of leads, more than double the profit. And this is exactly why you don't need more leads. You just need a system that ensures every single lead turns into revenue. Anyway, if you want the full breakdown from this video, plus SOPs, scripts, automations, and other tools that we give our clients, they're all inside my free Facebook group. You'll find a link for that below. And if you're more of a one-on-one type of person and you want help building this out for your business, there's a link for that too.